exogenous process are external cause exogenous process are external force that cases cases change change that cases change the art on the art on the art surface on the art surface on the art surface on the art surface such as weathering weathering erosion and the deposition process deposition process deposition process bring about about change on the surface change on the surface of the earth by the breaking down the rocks by the breaking downs of breaking down so transporting breaking down to the rock breaking down to the rock breaking down to the rock uh, which write account of the exogenous process which bring about the change on the surface of the earth. The exogenous process are the external force external external force that causes CAO SES causes that 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 causes exogenous are external force sources that causes CAO SES that causes change that causes changes 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 on the earth 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 changes on the earth. The exogenous process are external force that causes changes on the earth surface such as weathering such as weathering such as erosion and deposition and depositions. Exogenous process are external force. Exogenous exogenous process PROCESS. Yes, process are external TERNAL external force force external force that causes CAUS causes change change on the change on the earth surface change on the earth surface such 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 as weathering erosions and depositions. Exogenous process are the external force that causes change on the earth surface such as weathering erosions and the depositions. This process bring about the change on the surface of the earth by breaking down the rock, transporting the resulting materials and depositions it's in the new locations. Exogenous process is the external force that causes change on the earth's surface that causes change on the earth's surface that causes change on the earth's surface, such a weathering erosions and depositions, such a weathering such a weathering weathering such a weathering erosion such a weathering erosion weathering erosion such a weathering erosions and depositions such a weathering erosion and depositions such a weathering erosion such a weathering erosion such a weathering erosion such a weathering erosion such a weathering erosions. uh, Exogenous process or the external force that causes change on the earth's surface, such as weathering erosions and the deposition, such as weathering erosion and deposition, such as weathering. Exogenous process. Exogenous process are the external force. The external force that causes change on the earth's surface, 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 such as weathering erosions and depositions, such as weathering erosion and depositions. Such as weathering on the earth's surface, surface, such as weathering erosion and depositions, depositions. This process bring about the change on the earth, change on the earth's surface. This process bring about change on the surface, change of the earth, change on the surface on the earth. This process bring about the change on the surface of the earth, change of the about changes about change on the surface of the earth by breaking down the rock and transporting. This process bring about a change on the surface of the earth by breaking down the rocks, transporting the resulting materials and depositions in in the new location in the new locations in the new location in the new locations. uh, Write a brief account of the exogenous process which bring about the changes on the surface of the art. Exogenous process are the external surface that bring change on the that bring that bring that bring change that bring change that bring change that bring change that bring rearrange that bring change that bring change that bring rearrange that bring change 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 that bring a change that bring a change that bring a change that bring a change. Exogenous process are the external exogenous process are the external exogenous process are the external force that causes change on the earth surface such as weathering, erosions, and the depositions. This process bring about a change on the surface of the earth by breaking down the rocks, transporting transporting the resulting material material material. Exogenous process or external surface. Exogenous process or the external surface that causes change on the earth surface change on the earth surface such as weathering, and depositions. This causes this process PROCE double S. Yes, this process bring about the changes. This process bring about the changes. This process bring about the changes on the earth surface. This process bring continuous process. path surface such as erosion, erosions and depressions. Erosion and depressions, erosion and depressions. This process, this process bring change on the surface of the earth. 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 Surface of the earth by breaking down. Transporting the resulting material to transporting This process brings the change on the surface of the earth by the breaking the rocks, transporting, resulting resulting materials, resulting materials, resulting materials, resulting process or external, external. Gradations. Define gradation, and show that degradations and aggregations are the internal part of the gradation. Gradation is the process of leaving the land surface. Gradation is a process of leaving the land surface, Gradation is the process of leaving the land surface. Gradation is the process of leaving the land surface. Gradation is the process of leaving the land surface, leaving the land surface. Grading. Gradation. Gradation. Gradations is the process of leaving the land surface. It is achieved through two main actions. Achieves two actions. The weathering down of the high reflect area, like mountain through the erosions and the weathering through the erosion and the weathering degradation means the weathering down and high erosions and the weathering. Degradations, the weathering down and high reflect area, mountain 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 through erosions and the weathering Point number two, gradations, the build up of low reflect low reflect area, like valley valley or plain, through the deposition of erode materials. Gradation. Define the gradation and show that the degradations and aggradations are the internal part of the gradations. Gradation is the process of leveling the land surface. Gradation is the surface. Gradation is the process of leaving the land surface. Leveling the land surface. Gradation is the process of leveling the land surface. Gradation वो एक चीज़ है जो अ, मिट्टी मतलब मिट्टी को लेवल करता है. It is an achievement through the two main actions. Achieve an achievement वो एक जो अचीव करता है कि दो दो तरीक दो दो एक्शन से अचीव करता है. डिग्रेडेशंस. पॉइंट नंबर 1 डिग्रेडेशन का मतलब the weathering down and high reflect area like mountain through erosions and weathering. Point number 2 aggradations, the build up of low reflect area like belly or plain through the depositions of eroded erodations. Gradation is the process of leveling the land surface. It achieved it is achieved by two main actions. Point number 1 degradations. The weathering down and high reflect area. The weathering down and high reflect area like mountain through the erosions. Degradations. The weather of down of high degradation Gradation is the process. Gradation is the process of leveling leveling the land surface, 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 leveling the land surface. Gradation is the process. Gradation is the process of leveling the land surface. It is achieved through two main action. It is achieved through. It is achieved. Through two main action. Through two main action. Through its two main actions. Degradations. The weathering down and high. The weathering down and high reflect area. The weathering down and high reflect area like mountain. Like mountain mountain like mountain through through the erosions and weathering. Aggradation means the build of low reflect the build up of low reflect the build up of low reflect RELIEF reflect area AREAS area like belly, belly, belly or belly or plane, belly or plane, BALLEYS, belly, belly, belly or plane, 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 belly, belly, belly or plane, belly or plane, belly or plane. Aggregation, 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 aggregations. The bill, the bill, the bill, the bill, the bill, the bill. Aggregation, 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 aggregations. The bill of load, load reflect the bill of load reflect the bill of the bill of the bill of the bill of load reflect reflect gradation, 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 gradation. The bill of load reflect the bill of load reflect. Gradation is the leveling the lines of living parts of living it is to manage actions to main action that are whether down of the high area like mountain through the erosions and erosion and whether it the bill of low reflect area like valley or flex through the depression or depression of depression. Depressions or depressions.